The Romney campaign is pushing back this morning on what some people were saying was a sort of an etch-a-sketch moment. It started when the woman who's in charge of Hispanic Outreach for the Republican National Committee said that Governor Romney is, quote, still deciding his position on immigration. Here's what she said.
I think as a candidate, to my understanding, deciding what his position on immigration is. So I can't talk about what his proposal is going to be because I don't know what Romney exactly. He's talked about different issues, and it was and what we saw in the Republican primary is that there's a very diverse opinion on how to deal with immigration. So I can't talk about something that I don't know what the position is.
So that was Bettina Inclán, and then she backtracked. She tweeted, I misspoke. Romney's position on immigration is clear, and then included in that tweet a link to the former governor's immigration policy. On his website, he says there he supports legal immigration, will complete a high-tech fence to keep illegal immigrants out, and he opposes amnesty. Also, this comes as a new plan to secure the borders has been unveiled. The plan moves away from emphasizing the entire border, identifies areas of greatest risk, as they call it, and then devotes resources to those specific locations. Last strategy required patrolling the entire 8,600 miles of the border that surrounds the United States. We want to bring in Democratic Congressman Luis Gutierrez. He is the chair of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus Immigration Task Force. He's also an outspoken advocate of immigration reform. And Republican Congressman Gingrey of Georgia. He's long supported tough immigration reform. Nice to see both of you gentlemen. Thank you for being with us. Congressman Gingrey, I'm going to start with you, if I may, this morning. So you heard what Ms. Inclán, who I'm sure is very much regretting answering a question that she ended by saying, I really can't answer it, but she basically said he's still deciding. Is Governor Romney still deciding, do you think, or do you think he has a firm position on immigration?
Well, I think he has a very firm position, and what I heard you say just a second ago in regard to a secure border, whether we're talking about drones, motion detectors, infrared cameras, or fencing, that we need to secure that border first and foremost. You don't let the patient continue to hemorrhage, you stop the burst. And in regard to the issue of amnesty, the next president of the United States, Mitt Romney, is not going to tolerate any amnesty. So I'm very much in favor of that, and I think his position is really solid on it.
But so what exactly is his position on what Marco Rubio has been presenting as his version of the DREAM Act?
Well, of course, I have not seen Marco Rubio's version. It's not a bill. It's certainly not law. And I will look forward to hearing his proposal. But this idea of a DREAM Act has started probably back in the mid-'90s, and I guess the most prominent bill that was introduced in 2001 by Dick Durbin, Luis Gutierrez, my good friend from Illinois, will probably speak of that as well. He's been very active on the House side in regard to the DREAM Act. There's been many iterations of it, but it hasn't passed cloture in the Senate, and the American people are generally opposed to it.
I'm always worried, Congressman Gutierrez, when someone says, my good friend, I get very nervous because usually something's going to follow along when you're talking to elected officials. That's going to be, but weigh in for me what you think of specifically on this version of the DREAM Act that Marco Rubio would like to see become a bill, and Governor Romney's support or lack of support. He has been unclear on that. And I also want to talk to you about President Obama and sort of what has not been done on immigration that the president may have or should have or could have done in the first years in office.
First, it was regrettable that you have a brand new person out there doing outreach to the Hispanic voting community of the United States that doesn't understand the record. It's a very clear record. It's not one that's evolving. I mean, Mitt Romney said everyone should just self-deport. And when he said it, it was like Senator John McCain was scratching his head saying, oh, I don't think he really said that. He said that he would veto the DREAM Act in its current form. He said that he was against amnesty. I mean, and best yet, he has a very clear position. He said that the Arizona law implementation of 1070 should be what we use and should be our model across the country. So he has a very clear position. Having said that, look, I think if there are Republicans that are ready to come forward with proposals that stop deportations and allow people to integrate themselves, as Senator Rubio has, we should give those proposals our consideration and our support. if and when they make gains and make progress on the immigration debate.
Talk to me about President Obama and some of the things that he has talked about. Here's a little bit of what Ms. Inclon, and I agree with you, it sounded like she's a very novice in the position, just listening to her voice as she was answering some of these questions. Let me play a little chunk where she talks about President Obama.
He talks about uniting families, and all he's done is support more immigrants than any president in American history.
Assess for me, Congressman Gutierrez, President Obama's record on immigration.
Sure. Number one, we passed the DREAM Act in the House of Representatives, 216 to 198. Only 8 Republicans of the 216 votes. 55 members of the Senate voted for cloture. There were Republican members of the Senate who were co-sponsors of the DREAM Act who didn't vote for cloture. So clearly, when the president attempted to pass the DREAM Act, he got it done in the House of Representatives, and he got 55 in the Senate, and the Republicans simply stopped the movement forward. Having said that, the president can take more actions, and we are. I'm going to be next week in Charlotte, North Carolina. We got Mr. Gabino Sanchez. He came here when he was 14 years old. He has 2 American citizen children. He's driving without a driver's license, and now he's being ordered deported from the United States of America. The president said that he had a new policy of discretion where there are American citizen children concerned, where they had any criminal offenses, that he would prioritize drug dealers and gang members and rapists and murderers and people who present a threat to the United States, and not people who have long-standing roots in the community and American citizen children that need to be raised.
Let me ask a final question to Congressman Gingrey, if I may, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the new border policy. The emphasis now not on the entire border, but specific or problem areas, if you will. Is this a better policy, a worse policy? What do you think?
This is a policy that doesn't even pass the laugh test. It's strictly a political posturing. It does nothing. The fact is that the policy that was put in place by the Bush administration, I'll commend President Obama for continuing the policy of utilizing technology and completing the 700 mile of the fencing. So the apprehensions are down from 1.6 million per year back in 2001 to about 250,000 today. So the system is working. And in regard to self-deportation, there was a little criticism there about Governor Romney in regard to that statement. Well, that's working in Georgia because we passed an Arizona-type law, House Bill 87 by State Representative Matt Ramsey, State Senator Jack Murphy, and so the 465,000 illegal immigrants in the state of Georgia, more, by the way, than Arizona, they're leaving the state of Georgia because we are enforcing the law. You enforce the law, you take away the job magnet by making companies abide by E-Verify, then this problem can solve itself.
Congressman Gingrey, Congressman Gutierrez, nice to see you both. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Pleasure to be with you.
Thank you very much.
Still ahead this morning on Starting Point, voters in a key